Tell me more about Peace Pilgrim. She stayed in your house?
Yes, and of course she's a vegetarian, you know. And I said, are there any special orders for your food intake? What would you like me to do? She says, I don't give orders. I thought that was cute because it was kind of a thing with me. I'm the one that gives orders. It was like a little retort, you know, that she, don't you know that you're the one that gives the orders? But she stayed in my front bedroom, which is now my little art studio and my library. But so I told her something I was going to make, and I made her my favorite salad. I'm so glad she didn't frown on it because it's that salad with cottage cheese, and I asked her if that was okay, and she said, well, yes, in this case it's okay. Anyway, so I fixed her my salad with cottage cheese and nuts and fruits and all kinds of things. It was gelatin. It had gelatin. Well, that was the problem. I asked her about the gelatin, and she said those things, those little things, are not that important. And I thought that was nice to say. So.
What would a day in the life be like having peace in your house?
Well, I mean, I laughed. I said, you know, I have peace in my house. And the woman on the phone, so I answered the phone, and they said, well, I have peace in my house too. Well, I want to talk to you about something. I said, no, I have Peace Pilgrim. Oh, you mean the lady in the newspaper? I said, yes. You know, it was funny how things like that would happen. And but it was not too much different because we had the girls were downstairs, and there were more than one of them, and everybody was sort of into respecting other people's rights, and her door was closed until she was ready to make an appearance out for any kind of breakfast or something. And I was volunteered, of course, to take her to her next whatever, you know, by car. And so, but I asked her all the questions, and everybody would always ask me after she was gone, what kind of underwear did she wear? And I said, none. They went, I said, no, she wore a tank suit, like a suit that you wear at the YWCA when you swim. It hasn't got a built-in bra or any of those kinds of things. It was just a wonderful, practical thing. And guess what? I do it a lot when I go on vacation. I wear an undergarment like that myself. I wear it because it's really practical. You can put a dress on over it, and then when you want to, you can take it off and walk on the beach, you know. And it's really practical. And it was it was not cotton. So all those who were disappointed in thinking she wore purely cotton, it was some sort of a nylon fabric, because she said I can brisk it dry. She said I bathe in it, so I wash my underclothes all the time when I take a bath or a shower. She said I just bathe my underclothes. And then she said, I just wash the soap, and when I rinse myself off, she said, I just brisk off. She was very, she wasn't offended or didn't think that was peculiar that I asked her that. And she was just very easy to have, but she was a no-nonsense conversation person, and of course I talk too much. So she worked it out. And she would pretty well let me know, punctuate when she was finished talking with me, and then I'd go and turn and do something else, you know. But and I always I was always happy to be able to be her taxi driver. It was wonderful.
A couple more questions about the clothes. I'm curious, what color was the tank suit?
It was a navy blue, just a nice navy blue, and it matched. She had a pair of sort of workout slacks that went to the bottom. You know, I mean, they were more like, I was trying to say, like a jogging suit type bottom, you know. And then she wore a jacket, like the T-shirt that she wore with the printing on it. But then she also had like a little battle jacket like thing that was lightweight, though. It was very lightweight. I thought, well, I hope she wouldn't be cold in some of these times, you know. And I don't know about, I never saw her with like an overcoat or a raincoat, and those are the only things. Was well, yeah, she did wear socks. She wore socks, and I don't remember about her. Yes, she did. She wore some substantial shoes. She had a pair of, I don't know whether they were like tennis shoes or something like that. I don't remember that much. But
what else did you ask her about?
Oh, well, I asked her about some very important things, because I'm curious about everything. And I asked her, I said, in fact, I made the mistake of asking her in the company of the Theosophical Society meeting I mean, I do that anyway. I'm psychic, and I can feel around the room people are dying to say something just shocking, you know. And I said, well, Peace, I said, what about, I said, I have a friend and he has teenage kids, and I said, and he didn't know what was going on in their life. I said, I took him to an X-rated movie so he would know something about that. So she said, stay away from those places. She said, the entities just swarm to those places. I said, I know, that's exactly what we said. We didn't care about the graphics that we saw, because being adult people, that, you know, actually what was going on there was either repulsive and like that. But what was worse, we both came out and we said we feel like we want to be wiped off. I mean, I feel like, ew, like you're crawling with something, like. And she said, that's exactly right, and it's a good thing. She said, if I would have been there, I would have scrubbed you down. So that was important, to ask a question like that. Of course, everybody thought, oh, Aline, you know, Aline's so dumb. She always asks these stupid questions. But I have found it in conferences and stuff, I am the one that gets up and asks the stupid question. Because guess what? There's about 14 others of us out there, 10 or 12 or something, that want to know that. So,
what else did you ask?
I didn't ask her anything about her personal life. I always allow people to volunteer those kinds of things. I didn't ask her if she ever was married, or if she had any children, or anything like that. And I alluded to the fact that something about, I think I was worried about Irma's health, and I asked her something like, could she predict something like, I didn't ask her, can she predict, but I said, do you think Irma will ever be well and rid of this thing? And she looked at me and startled, like, you know better than that. And because I already felt that Irma's end was coming close, and that's why, and she's as much, she was kind of like, Aline, I know you're not asking me whether am I psychic, and I didn't ask, are you psychic? That silly stuff, you know. It's, I think everybody is, but I'm always amazed at why they don't try to use it, you know, because it's so valuable at appropriate times. I don't think you can play games with your psychic sensitivity, because I think it drains out, like, you know, you lose that energy.
You know, it's interesting. Someone who knew Peace Pilgrim pretty well said he felt that there were 3 Peace Pilgrims: the personal one, the public one, and the cosmic one.
Mm-hmm. That's quite true. As a numerologist, I couldn't tell you anything other, because I know that of everyone. I say in everyone there's the vowels and the consonants and the whole character that's playing out on this scene of life. And in the vowel tones, it's the secret heart's desire, and that's what, if you follow that, and of course she did, she followed her bliss. Her bliss was going on no matter what it took to fulfill her destiny, and her destiny was go out there and touch as many people in not a pushy way. She didn't have anything to sell, you know, and she wasn't, I mean, you know, and all people were kind of amazed at that. Well, where do we send contributions, or where do we do that? And that was a hard thing to find out back in those days. And she carried a ballpoint pen, and I gave her stamps. And when she only asked me, and I said, oh, I have a lot of stamps. She said, oh, I need 3 stamps. I mean, like, I don't need a dozen stamps. I need 3 stamps. A 4th stamp would be a burden, you know. Where am I going to put it? It'll get damp in my pocket or something, you know. And golly, I wish I had learned more for her in that direction. I have too many things, you know. We all do.
Gee, one of my favorite stories is someone tried to give her a ballpoint pen, a refill. And she said, let me check. Let's see what's in the mail tomorrow morning. And in the mail the next day were 2 refills for her ballpoint pen. So she kept one and she gave one
to the other person. How wonderful. I love that. That is just wonderful. Yes, it is.
So, how many times did you see Peace Pilgrim?
Well, it was only a one-on-one seeing her like that. I don't think more than 3 or 4 times. The one time that the first introduction to her was a biggie. Oh, I saw her more than that, because I went to wherever she lectured. And like, if the day I saw her, the first time I saw her was on the campus out at Ivy Tech, I think. But anyway, I would go to wherever she was going to appear and be with another group. I would be in the background, and I didn't count that as being with her. I personally, and also I felt I didn't want to monopolize her, and I certainly didn't want to trade on the fact that she was in my home, that I could lean over on her because she had correspondence to do. She was a busy woman. She was an executive. See, that was the business side of her. She got up in the morning and she had what she did to do. You know, she had mail to be mailed, and she wanted to know when it was going to be mailed, and then that would give her a little kind of little marker in there, at least to one to be psychically sensitive to where it was going to show up, you know. I corresponded with her a couple times and wrote her little notes and stuff, but I didn't expect answers or anything like that. And I had, when groups were talking, they knew something about her. I went traveling to California, and I met people who knew her, and we had conversations about her, which was wonderful. I met a couple who were just in a trailer park in California. I'm trying to say exactly where it was. I can't remember the name of it now. But this couple were working on some archives for her, and I'm not sure they were not connected with the book.
John and Ann Rush?
Huh?
A Quaker couple, John and Ann
Maybe
Rush?
that was them, uh-huh. They live in the trailer park in California?
Well, it looks like a trailer park. They live in Hemet.
Yes, that's them. That is them. Yes, it is. Yes. How I say yes to that. They were wonderful. They were wonderful, yes. And I corresponded with them several times. Uh-huh.
Our film is a project of
Of
their
theirs.
nonprofit.
Oh, how lovely. That's really lovely. I'm happy to hear that. Because my friends that took me there to Hemet are not there anymore. One of them went to Mexico, and the other one is living in, I think, San Diego.
What do you think motivated Peace Pilgrim's pilgrimage?
Well, I would say what has motivated almost any person who has a real sacred calling like that is that just taking it up. I mean, the first time it's like an altar, the grand cosmic altar call, you know. Only the very brave just get up and walk and go, you know. And the very courageous and all. The rest of us, I have had several great cosmic altar calls, and I mean, say I was nodding off or didn't pay attention, you know. But then I've been playing back my little times of opportunity. I think, oh, why didn't I take that opportunity up? It's just a deep knowing. I've tried to give up being involved with the sacred teaching of numerology and the Pythagorean things, but I can't let it go. I every time I do, a book shows up, and it's just like there. In fact, I've had a book supported, just like show up, you know. And but I think that's how it happened with her. She just knew. She just absolutely knew.
So would you say that numerology is your calling?
Absolutely, but not to be on television or a call a 900, nothing like that. I'm a research person. I know myself very well. I am supposed to leave some kinds of records and things like that other people can find. I know if we they dig us up 1,000 years from now and they see all these little discs and all these little cassette players and this film that we have, they'll say, what funny people they were, you know, why'd they get these little discs? And then they say, hey, well, there was information on here, valuable information. And someday, I've been bringing some of these things, I'm trying to take the wheat from the chaff. I'm trying I have discrimination, and I have read so many people who shouldn't have written it, wrote a book and shouldn't have written it. Guess what? I did it. I was sort of like coerced into writing a book because some man wanted to be famous about doing that, and it's an embarrassment instead of a joy and a pride. But I did write the book. I would say that it was a discipline that I am glad I did, and I understand what it's like to write a book, have it published. 10,000 copies went out there, and I got them in libraries of all the things we talk about. I mean, that's the way it is. But it's like I'm not sorry I wrote it, but I am embarrassed a little bit because of the grammatical errors and things that wasn't done with complete loving dedication. And see, there's where the difference is between a Peace Pilgrim and an Aline Gray. I mean, there it is. I mean, does it mean that I don't love myself and I don't honor the fact that I'm having this life experience and I'm doing what I can? And I forgive myself for my ignorant times, you know. But Peace Pilgrim had something more to do, and she allowed nothing to interfere with that. And boy, to get override your ego, I've done enough Jungian psychology to know it's really rough to get past that ego, you know, that little egocentric self. And when I manage to do that, I feel a lot better.
If you were to sum up Peace Pilgrim's message, what would that be?
It's certainly that you don't have to go on a pilgrimage, personally. She was not telling everybody to get up and follow me. I love her. That she didn't have followers. That's the most monumental thing of all of these great people. She did not, and that's the one thing, maybe I just picked that up from her. People ask me, say, oh, I heard that you're a numerologist. And what do you do? I said, well, one thing, I don't have any followers. Don't look around. I said, don't follow me, I may be lost. And that's the way, that Peace Pilgrim certainly knew she wasn't lost. But she didn't need a bunch of people trailing behind her either, and tripping over things that she knew how to avoid falling over, but they wouldn't. If you followed her on the little hike, you know that sometimes she was hard to keep up with, and yet she talked and would visit with and all that. But she wore me down, and I was years younger than she was. You know, not that many maybe, but some. And that's what I would say. She didn't have followers. People. I mean, she commanded respect from a large number of people, and she had integrity.
What's the most important thing you learned from her?
Well, I think it's the part about maybe the following business. I mean, the people, because I do have heroes in life, and if Bucky Fuller, my other second hero, you know, he is well, my first hero is Paramahansa Yogananda, but those people didn't think they had followers. They never knew they had followers. If those people were following them, they didn't know it. You see, and I don't think Peace Pilgrim looked back because she didn't have anything to worry about over her shoulder. You see. And I feel that if I'm get out of this life and avoid having anybody that, you know, following after my great example or something like that, it's nice to me to teach you a little something on the way, but that's all I would say.
If are there any questions you have that you wish you'd asked her?
I probably would love, just out of curiosity, though, I probably wondered, in fact, I want to ask you, before I finish this whole wonderful interview, I have to have her birthday, so I can see why I had the wonderful gift of knowing her, which is a really, when I think somebody, I go places and I hear people talking about her, and I thought, and then sometimes, you know, my ego gets the best of me. She stayed in my living room, ha ha ha, she stayed in my little front bedroom, oh yes she did. I'm like, oh Aline, you're so corny, you know. Sometimes you tire me.
I'll tell you something though, as we're piecing together this story, there was definite karma involved.
Oh yes.
You had karma with
I'm
this
sure,
story.
absolutely.
A lot of people, she acknowledged that they had been her students in Lemuria.
Well, see, I'm definitely was in Atlantis. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I know that for sure. Because the Atlantean Oracle is just something that's just second nature to me.
If Peace Pilgrim were here with us now,
and she probably could be,
what would you say to her?
I think I would like to say that I wish we had a little more time for tea, just tea for two. And I think, well, I always tell people I love like that. I would love to have played with Paramahansa Yogananda when he was about 10 or 12 years old, and I'd love to have been with Peace Pilgrim when she was about 10 or 12 years old. I love the idea that the child, Peace Pilgrim didn't let her child out very often. But I knew she had a wonderful child in there somewhere, you know, and that's what I say if she came here. Let me see your child, you know. Let me see this silliness, some silliness there somewhere, some lightness. because she had a serious purpose. And so she couldn't see that. She could smile. She had a beautiful smile. But she knew that there would be people like me who would get carried away with it. Well, if you can have, 10 minutes fun with your kid, let's just stay all night and have fun with it. It'll be fun, And they like that.
Did you ever joke around with her?
It didn't occasion me to do that. No, I didn't. No. I think the fact that she was comfortable being at my house, and I knew that it was okay. I was okay with her. Maybe we already did that another time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How did you ask Kirk to stay in your house?
I think Kirk asked me. Kirk Torrance asked me if I would. She was supposed to stay with him, and he had another obligation or something. And he said, "Aline, would you like to host her?" I said, "Well, I'd be honored, And I've had many lovely gifts from my friend Kirk Torrance. We don't talk about that either because he's not too mouthy about things like that.
Well, I think I've asked. Do you have any questions, Dave?
I don't.
Oh, thank you so much.